They set out from Elim, and all the congregation of people of Israel came to the wilderness of Sin, which is between Elim and Sinai. Exodus chapter 16, verse 1. Elim is not a well-known stop for the Israelites' journey out of Egypt. But according to Exodus chapter 15, verse 27, they found 12 springs of water and 70 palm trees in that little oasis. They were able to make camp there, and it was a respite between crossing the Red Sea and what is yet to come at Sinai. We all know that upon leaving Elim, in order to get to Sinai, they had to cross a wilderness, a barren and dry territory that left much to be desired. Day after day of monotony, the same scenery, hot temperatures, hard labor, and hard walking, literally plodding along day after day. But if they wanted to get to Sinai, to get to the things that God had prepared for them, they had to forge through this wilderness. It was the in-between. The in-between times, unfortunately, are the hard times, but they are also necessary. It is hard to be in between jobs, or in between relationships, or waiting for a promotion, or waiting for an event, or in our house just in between Christmases. Maybe you're waiting on test results from your doctor, or waiting to hear news from a loved one. Maybe you're pregnant and waiting through the 9 months until that sweet new life begins. There was a movie that came out back in the 90s called Hope Floats. And it ends with the quote, "Beginnings are scary, endings are usually sad, but it's the middle that counts the most. Just give hope a chance to float up." The in-between times are the bridge between what He has done for you and what He is preparing to do in your future. I know I've told this story before, but prior to Jennifer's cancer diagnosis, we had an in-between time of about 3 months. We knew it was likely that she had cancer, but it was 3 months before the doctor could see her. She would tell you now that she's most grateful for the in-between time. It was then that she prayed and felt the most peace, and how she learned to deal with what lay ahead. This is the phrase where you learn to draw close to Him, where He teaches you how to depend on Him in everything, even when another path seems most pleasurable. We had a 2-year engagement, and most people would tell us that we were crazy, that we would never wait 2 years, but we did. It was in that time that we grew closer to each other and closer to the Lord by reading every day and praying and developing a strong prayer life as a couple. We really learned about each other through devotional and study. My question is this: are you willing to dedicate yourself to the in-between time, even when you are tempted to look back at the wonders of Elim, the time when things seemed clear and when you had sweet moments of respite, back to the times when the movement of God was clearly flowing, your prayer life was more vibrant, spiritual disciplines didn't feel like a chore, you had an energy and a clear direction. You run on adrenaline and emotion. The in-between time is when it gets tough, when it's hard, but it's not a waste. Hebrews chapter 10, verse 36 reads, "You have need of endurance, so that when you have done the will of God, you may receive what is promised." Angela Welland Crosby once said, "Meet me in the middle of your story when your soul is worn but wise." I challenge you to embrace the in-between time. Be grateful for the mundane and use it to fortify you for what is to come. Instead of dreading the time of plodding through it, use it as it is intended, as a bridge to prepare you for what is to come. If you are in an in-between time right now, know that it will not last forever, and that something great will be waiting for you when you come to the edge of your personal wilderness.